This is lesson 5, and today we are talking about rhythm. So we're going to take a break from our key signatures and major scales to talk about some rhythm. So on your very first page, it's a reminder that the bottom number of a time signature tells us what note gets one beat. So if there's a 4 on the bottom, that means a quarter note gets one beat. If there's an 8 on the bottom, an eighth note gets one beat. If there's a 16 on the bottom, a 16th note gets one beat. If there's a 2 on the bottom, a half note gets one beat, okay? Think of it again like fractions when we come to time signatures. I think you guys all know this, but just to make sure. So if there's a 2 on the bottom, 1/2, that's where the half note gets one beat, okay? 1/4, we also say it 1/4, quarter note. 1/8, an eighth note, okay? So that's the bottom number is telling us what kind of note gets one beat. Okay, so when we take that beat, whatever it is, so let's say it's a quarter note, okay? We are in 3/4. So a quarter note gets one beat, and there's going to be 3 of them in every measure, okay? We can take this beat, we're counting quarter notes, right? So 1, 2, 3. Well, inside this quarter note are eighth notes. There's a smaller subdivision. We can take this and we can divide it down even smaller. So now inside here are eighth notes. So we could count it 1 and, because we count eighth notes by saying and after them, right? So we have 1 and, 2 and, 3 and. Now, it still sounds the same. 1, 2, 3, or 1 and 2 and 3 and. We're just feeling or counting that smaller subdivided beat. We've divided the beat smaller. Okay, we could also subdivide it another level down. We could subdivide it into 16th notes. 1 E and right? That's how we count 16ths. 2 E and 3 E and so you're still playing the same quarter notes, but now you're feeling 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a 1 E and a 2 E and a 3 E and a. You're feeling inside the subdivided beat, okay? So why is this useful? When we're playing and we have different note values, obviously we're not going to have, in 3/4 time, we're not going to have all quarter notes. We're going to have some eighth notes, we're going to have some 16th notes. So we always want to count internally in our head in the smallest beat that we have, okay? So if you look through your piece of music, it's 3/4 time, and the smallest beat, the smallest note that you have, the smallest note value is a 16th note. You are going to count in 16th notes, not just for that beat, but for at least several measures leading up to it. So what it does is it helps you be able to place those 16th notes accurately. They're not just faster. Well, I know that they're faster, but how much faster? Well, they actually have a place, and it's whatever speed we're going. When you get there, it's not just 1, 2, 3 and a 1, 2, 3 and a 1. Okay, it's 3 and a 1. So you're constantly dividing it and making it equal. So let's say, for example, we have our 16th notes. And I'll just tell you that string players are everybody kind of knows that this is not something that is easy for us. People in bands subdivide really well. Band music is very rhythmic, and so they have to be able to fit all of this in. string players, we kind of like are always a little bit late. So we're not good at counting. And so this is why I'm kind of harping on this. It's something that we have to work on. Okay, so our smallest notes are the 16th notes. So we are going to count this entire thing in 16th notes, even though there's no 16th notes here. Okay, we're going to subdivide it out. So this quarter note gets 1 E and A. This quarter note is with a dot, gets 2 E and A. The dot means it gets half, so that would be 3 E. And then this eighth note gets and A. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A. Then 1 E and A. This one gets, there's like 2 16th notes in that eighth note. 2 E, there's 2 in this one. And then there's all 4 in this one. 3 E and So now you can see if you're feeling the 16th note subdivision. 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A, 1 E and A, 2 E and A, 3 E and A. And you know exactly where to put those notes, okay? So what I'm having you do on page 15 is find the smallest note value. What's the fastest one there is? If it's just eighth notes, then count in eighth notes. When you count in eighth notes, it's 1 and 2 and, if we're in 3/4. And all of the ones on this page are in 3/4 or 4/4. If it's 16th notes, then count 1 E and A. Okay? So, and you'll see the charts on there where I have it divided. So 16ths, the number always comes first. 1 E and you can just draw a plus sign or like a plus with a line. You don't have to write out and then 1 E and A. Okay? Eighth notes is just 1 and. Okay, going on to page 2. How do you subdivide when it's in 6/8 time? When the eighth note gets 1 beat. So 6/8, right? Now the eighth note is getting 1. So now 16th notes, this is 1 and this would be 2 and. Then 32nd notes, 3 lines or 3 beams would get 1 E and A. Okay? Does that make sense? So when we go to where the eighth note gets 1 beat, where there's an 8 on the bottom of the time signature, all of the note values double. Quarter notes in 4/4 get 1. In 6/8 they get 2. Eighth notes in 4/4 get half of a finger. In 6/8 they double and get 1 beat. Okay, so everything is doubling what its note value. The same thing happens with our counting words. So eighth notes were 1 and 2 and in 4/4. Now in 6/8 it's 1, 2, 3, 4. All of our counting just moves down. Okay, so you're going to do the same thing. What's the smallest note value in the very first line there? Well, it's 16th notes. In 6/8 time, we count 16th notes by saying 1 and 2 and. So you're going to only use 1 and 2 and I should see 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and 5 and 6 and in every measure, even if there aren't 16th notes in that measure, so that I can see that you understand the subdivided beat for the whole line. Okay? Going on to the next piece, or next page, syncopation. Syncopation is a fancy word for when we take a beat that is typically a weak beat and make it strong, or we emphasize it, we stress it. So in 4/4 time, the numbers are stronger or more emphasized than the offbeats and. So 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and. Those are the heavy ones, okay? If we end up emphasizing the and, 1 and 2 and 3 and 4 and, we call that syncopation. It's stressing a weak beat over a strong beat, okay? One of the best examples of syncopation is the beginning of the Boccherini Minuet from Viola Book 2 and Violin Book 2. Cellos, you play it in Book 3. We have da 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 da, 1 and 2 and 3 and. We're emphasizing the ands of the beats, and you're gonna see on your page that I put those counts in so you can see, hey, there's an accent on the and the and. So this is syncopation. Okay, one of the composers that we don't play a lot of string music. He wrote tons and tons of piano music. Well, he wrote over 40 different ragtime. Probably the one you know is either Maple Leaf Rag or The Entertainer, the ice cream truck song. So is Scott Joplin. It's kind of cool. He's from Texarkana, Arkansas. So he grew up not very far away from us. He used syncopation in all of his ragtimes. Ragtime is syncopated. Bum 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 bum. So it's da 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 dum ba dum ba dum. We have those ands and offbeats emphasized. So he actually wrote, it was just like a couple pages of exercises of how you learn to play ragtime. And this is for pianists, but I just took the melody line and I put it in your notes. So you'll see I took exercise 3, 4, and 2, and all of these are syncopated. Now, ragtime is in 2/4. If you look at a rag, most of them are in 2/4 time, okay? So, what's the fastest note? We're counting in 16th notes. So you're gonna put in the counts for the 16th notes. Now, here's where it gets a little tricky. Let me do it on the whiteboard. One of the syncopation rhythms, so we have 1 E and da, is when we tie these two together. 2 eighth notes together equal what? An eighth. 2 16ths together equal an eighth. So if we tie these together, this becomes an eighth note, and these are 16ths. So we have 1 E and a, 1 E and a. The E and the and the E and the and are together. 1 E 1 E 1 E Okay, so this is where syncopation comes, and counting and subdividing come in handy. Subdividing comes in handy when we're counting syncopation. Okay, so I want you to write in the counts for what they are, and it should be subdivided. Okay, then on the next page, there are syncopated rhythms, but there are no bar lines. You have to add in the bar lines and then add a double bar at the end. Okay, so draw in the bar lines. Make sure that you're counting. If you need to write in the counts, do that. Okay. Then on the bottom of the page, you're gonna write a rag. It's 8 measures. We're gonna do it in the key of D major. Start on D, end on D. Now on the Google Classroom, you're gonna see that I have an 8 measure track. Well, it's actually 10. I added an introduction. Okay, so you'll hear an introduction, and then you're gonna hear bum 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 bum. I actually should just play it for you. I don't have it accessible easily. You can listen to it on the track. You'll hear the introduction, and when the piano starts just going 1 note chord, 1 note chord, that's where you start. Okay, above So you're gonna see here at the top of the staff, just a rhythm pattern. You need to choose pitches to play these notes. So like D, 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 E, F sharp. So you could do D, 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 E, F sharp, G, 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 A, G, 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 F sharp, E, D. Then the pattern changes. A, G, 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 E, F sharp, G, A, G, F sharp, E, D, D. Okay, so you're going to start on D, end on D. Whatever pitches you want to play in the key of D major. So anything on your D string or A string, keep it simple. Repeated notes are always acceptable. It doesn't have to be a different note, okay? So take that rhythm pattern and create your own ragtime melody here on both lines. Now, I would recommend playing it with the track several times, okay? I should have had this pulled up before. So sorry to be wasting your time. Play around with it multiple times. Like, just try different things. Here we go. Oh, my violin's not even here. So play it and try different things while you do it. It's quick. It's like 20 seconds. And then do it again. And don't write anything down until you come up with something you like. Okay? So I already played it and it's over. It's really short. Now, some of you may like, I don't know where to start. Start with a scale. Okay? Start repeated notes. D, 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 E, 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 or D, E, F sharp, G, A. Just go up the scale, down the scale. Steps are always fine, okay? Stepping up, stepping down. Play it, and if you don't like it, change it, okay? There's nothing keeping you from whatever you come up with first. You have to do. So, play around with it. The best way to do it is just play around with it over and over several times. And if there's something you're like, oh, I really liked how that sounded, write it down, okay? And you're using, if you notice, the whole first line, I use one rhythm pattern until you get to 2 quarter notes. And then you have another rhythm pattern and then a quarter note, okay? 2 quarter notes at the end. So it's not fancy, but I just want you to experiment on your instrument, and then write it down. Write the pitches down in the correct rhythm that's listed above here, okay? And then if you want to record it and share it with me, I'd love to hear it. I'd love to hear what you come up with, because it's always kind of cool to see how, and if you want to share it with the class, let me know that. I don't mind doing that. There's no pressure to do that though. So if it's something that you're interested in, you want to share it, like, hey, this is really fun, I liked this. We're going to do several of these throughout the semester. Our next one will probably be in a minor key, and we'll do some improvising in a minor key. So that's your assignment for this week, and I'll see you next week. Have a great week.